This is one of the critical rounds in the fight. It's round 9, the round which includes the first of the knockdowns. So after 8 completed rounds, how have you got it? Going into the 9th, on the judges' scorecard, Steve, Wilder is 2 rounds up on one of the cards, and Fury is 4 rounds up and 2 rounds up on the other card. So 2 of the judges at this stage have got Fury in front.
I've got it 7-1 going into the 9th. But more than that, Mike, what happens at the end of the 8th is really important. Okay, at the end of the 8th round, Shelley Finkel, who's in charge of Wilder's career, leaves ringside seat and goes to the corner and is screaming up at him. Okay, because he was in that round. He was starting to look a little bit sorry for himself. And what's more, at the end of the round, you saw Fury hit his head. Fury knows at the end of that 8th round, he's had a good run.
We're going into round number 9. Then at this stage, I've got it 6 rounds to 2. I've given the previous 2 rounds to Deontay Wilder. Just a sign that he is beginning to find the target more often. And he's starting to grow in confidence. He flicks out a couple of jabs. Again, Fury sees them coming and backs off. But this time, for one of the rare times in the fight, you see Deontay Wilder bend his knees and just go to throw a jab towards the body. Earlier in his career, that became not exactly a signature punch, but one that he used much more often than he did in this particular fight.
In all fairness, Mike, I thought when he did duck his body, duck his knees there to throw the left, I thought he was going to launch the right over the top, which he has tried there. Tried as well. Those are 2 good right hands that only just missed.
And there was a big right hand that did land just as he was coming into the corner there, and he finished it off with a cluster of clubbing punches that sent Fury down to the canvas. Fury looks absolutely bright-eyed at this stage, and I remember saying in commentary, I thought he was getting tired and he'd gone down more from fatigue than from the power of a single punch. How wrong I was to be, but I got the sense that he might just be starting to tire, given that, as I said, I had Wilder winning the previous 2 rounds. This is where Wilder, for me, Stephen, absolutely lives up to his name. Time and again, when he's got a man in trouble, when a man gets up after being knocked down, he gets really, really wild, smothers his own work. He's doing it here. He's charging in and he's giving Fury a chance here to just hold on and to smother that work himself as well.
And has promised not to do it in the next fight. Now, there's a couple of things about that knockout. First of all, there's 2 minutes and 4 seconds left when he gets hit, so he goes out. It's an awful long time to survive. The count and the cleaning of the gloves lasts about 17 seconds. Fury, if you remember, showed us in the change room afterwards the lump behind his left ear where he'd been hit. There was an illegal shot behind the head. Plus, there's a short little left hook just as he goes down, which also hurts. And he landed in front of me, Mike. He turned, and I saw his eyes, not from 3 feet away. They were crystal clear. In this round here, I remember this part, the last minute or so, how Wilder looked like he'd thrown an awful lot of punches for a minute and it starts to slow down slightly. I'm remembering it now as I'm watching it.
That's because so rarely in his career has the quality of punching been coming back at him like this as it has been from Tyson Fury. And Fury now, with 30 seconds to go, raises both his arms
sticks his tongue out,
90 seconds after the knockdown.
90 seconds after the knockdown.
And how demoralising must that be for Deontay Wilder? No one's ever done anything like this to him before. This must be playing...
Sticks his chin out.
In terms of the mind games, must be playing havoc with Deontay Wilder's thinking at this stage. Last few seconds of the round, you hear the timekeeper wrapping the sticks on the canvas, and Fury is really making a serious rally in these last few seconds.
The first minute after the knockdown, Fury has to defend and move. Then the next minute, as I said just then, I said he starts to do nothing here, Wilder. So I can remember it clearly. I haven't watched this for 7 or 8 months, but I remember it, and you saw it there. Here he is. I remember that because when he comes back there, he leans down, he screams at me. That's when he screams at me. I'm telling you, Mike. At that point, Fury has gone down, he's been hurt, he's been where guys generally don't come back from. And not only has he come back, he's come back strong. See that final left hook, just top of the head?
We're just watching a replay of the knockdown at the end of that 9th round. The knockdown itself came earlier in the round, and it was preceded by a clipping right hand that landed that Fury clearly didn't recover from, and then a cluster of punches which end with a clubbing right hand on the top part of the head, send him down to the canvas. And that's absolutely crucial to the overall outcome, Steve, because if I've got it 6-2 going into this round, then at the end of this round it's 6-4, and suddenly it becomes a much closer fight. Yeah. And the next round we're going to spool on, Steve, is the 12th and final round, one that can never, ever be forgotten. But after 11 rounds then, what's your scorecard looking like?
11 rounds, I had it 9-2.
9-2. Well, as far as the judges are concerned, Wilder was 2 rounds up on one scorecard, but Tyson Fury was up on the other two scorecards.
9-2, and then the knockdown, remember, as well. So.
Yes, so you've got it actually slightly closer than that suggests. But as Tyson Fury raises both his arms now as they come together and are asked to just touch gloves by the referee, Jack Reese, he's only got to stand up to win. He's only got to avoid a knockdown in this round to win. And what does he do? Goes on the front foot.
Stands in front of him. He's actually standing in front of him.
And then very soon here lands a terrific left-right combination of his own before the fateful moment. He's feinting on his way in here, and just very soon now he flicks out one jab as Wilder comes into range. It's fascinating, this exchange. Left-right from Tyson Fury, pinpoint, and then he's down. Right hand, left hook from Deontay Wilder. Having just landed two brilliant shots himself, Fury lost concentration. Right hand, left hook, he goes down. And now, this is one of the points of controversy. Jack Reese asking, are you okay? Do you want to carry on? He points to his right, Jack Reese, and says, walk over there and then walk back to me. And this is fascinating, Steve, because I've seen an interview with Jack Reese on BT Sport, and he points out that he told both fighters in the dressing room beforehand, another clubbing left hook from Wilder gets through. But look how wild he goes again. He's not timing those punches.
So the second punch after he's got him on the ropes, after knockdown, misses by about 4 feet. How?
Just going back, Steve, to the interview on BT Sport with Jack Reese, and he was saying how he'd been into the dressing room of each man and said that he would give them the chance to walk away and prove that they were ready to carry on. And also he said when Tyson Fury was down, he knew that he wasn't unconscious because he had one bent leg. And he said after 30 years as a fireman, having dealt with so many traumas and so many...
great interview.
So many really, really bad scenes in houses on fire and whatever, he said that he knew that if his leg was bent, that he was not unconscious. And so that's one of the reasons that he gave him such a chance to carry on. But he had told both men that he would do that in their dressing rooms beforehand.
Look at this now, mate. It's Fury throwing the shots.
What's fascinating, Steve, here, you know, if you were to wind it back, there's a minute to go here, but at about a minute and 30 seconds to go, and we can do that. We can wind this back here because we're all getting so excited. I mean, this is one of the great rounds in boxing history, not just in heavyweight history. But if we wind it back to about a minute and 35 seconds to go or something like that, you will see Tyson Fury. He's still under pressure here now. There's a minute and 35 seconds to go. Right hand from Wilder almost gets through. Now, Fury puts his hands behind his back very soon now at this stage. He's rolling. Here he does now. This is the point at which the rally starts. It's almost as if he's saying to Fury, big right hand, left hook. Wilder's in big trouble. In this second half of the final round, Wilder lands one single punch, and that's a glancing jab to the high part of the head. Fury is on fire here, and I think with another 30 seconds, he might well have stopped him. But now there's a minute to go in this final round, Steve, and you watch Wilder as he steps away. He is absolutely exhausted. Fury somehow is coming back here to almost, well, not force a stoppage, but he's definitely the man on top. Look at Wilder here. He can barely step back. He's so tired.
Gulping for air.
Both hands down by his waist. What a rally. I mean...
he nearly knocks himself over with that left hook he throws there, mate. It's because his balance is gone at this stage. Yeah. This is the worst possible Wilder.
Yeah. And he flicks out a jab here. It's just the one shot that lands. That's the only shot that lands in the last half of the final round for Wilder. Now he's covering up on the ropes as Fury launches an attack. Look in the distance, Steve. Everybody, apart from the officials, standing up. This was one special 3 minutes in boxing history. The timekeeper at the bottom of the screen just jumps up, wraps the sticks together, 10 seconds to go. And it's Fury up on his toes, looking for another opening here. He just wants to fight all night long. Fury, the bell sounds. He's dancing around the ring with his hands in the air, jumps up onto the corner post on the far side of the ring.
He actually jumps up in Wilder's corner. He jumps up.
Wilder's
corner.
So
he jumps up there in Wilder's corner because he's got Shelly Fingal. He jumps up in Shelly Fingal's face.
Staggering last round. So we all know what unfolded after that stage. It is. But at that stage, were you thinking that Fury's got to get it, Steve? Because I know now you've given it to him on your scorecard.
Absolutely.
I mean, I had it 114, 112, so I give it to Fury. I had it 8 rounds to 4 for Fury, but because the 4 rounds of Wilder included 2 knockdowns, it's a closer scorecard. 114, 112 to me. for Fury.
I'm finished 9-3, and I'm finishing obviously 9-3 with and then plus the 2 knockdowns. So I guess if you look at it that way, it does get closer. It does naturally get closer. But in my opinion, worse ways is a 7-5. It's an 8-4. It's a 9-3. And I'll be absolutely straight with you, Mike. I'm, people are staying at ringside at this point, and I'm actually standing up on the ring apron over here. I'm actually in the corner at this point. People are saying, he'll get jobbed, he'll get jobbed. I actually didn't expect him. I thought he might actually get it. I was looking for fair play, Mike. I really was.
But also, in the aftermath, Steve, I was surprised about how little uproar there was, really. And I guess that's partly because so many Americans at ringside, whether pundits or ex-champions. For all I was saying, Floyd Mayweather gave all of the first 5 rounds to Deontay Wilder, to Tyson Fury, should I say. Many of the Americans thought that Wilder should have been rewarded for his aggression and for forcing the fight more so than Tyson Fury did. But hey, look, the results are draw, and that's why we're back here in the United States. And Fury going down there, Steve, as we're watching the replay while on the live transmission, we're waiting for the judges' scorecards. He goes down, Steve, after, I think it was
35 seconds. About 35 seconds, I think he goes down.
I've got exactly
36.
He goes down, Steve, after 38 seconds. 38, so he's got 2 minutes and 22 seconds to survive. Not only does he survive, but as we've just been saying, he comes back and virtually...
Quite staggering. And you know what, Mike? I don't know about you, but I meant to tell you this earlier on when we've been a busy week this week. I'm not quite sure what we've done live, what we've done as a podcast, and what we've done as an interview, because we've just done just about everything, including the table tennis excursion you and young Jack had. Mike, you can't walk through here. In fact, I'd like to do a test here. We could go to the 5 bars inside the MGM, and within 10 seconds sitting down at a bar, one of the 30 screens behind will show you highlights of that knockout.
It will do,
whether it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 9 in the morning, or 9 at night. You will see that knockout. Every single screen is showing it because it's being repeated non-stop on various channels.
And that knockdown, Steve, came at 38 seconds of the 12th and final round. So he had 2 minutes and 22 seconds still to survive at that stage. He was on his feet at the count of 10. I've absolutely measured this, but there was another 10 seconds before Jack Reese said, box on. So, he's had 20 seconds to recover. I thought there would be greater controversy than there was. There have been mumblings this week, and there was at the time from Deontay Wilder saying he got a long count, but nothing like the one that we mentioned on the podcast a few weeks ago, Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson, or even going back to Gene Tunney and Jack Dempsey. But absolutely fascinating. I was just looking back through history, Steve, and everybody listening can wander back and have a look on YouTube to the knockdown in the last round of Muhammad Ali against Joe Frazier, Madison Square Garden, March 1971. That knockdown came similar time, 25 seconds into the 15th and final round. So Ali's got 2.5 minutes or more to survive, and he did survive. And just like Tyson Fury, started coming back. They're made of something different, these fellas.
They are made of something different. Mike, there's a point there, and you saw me in the corner as the camera was going round. There's a point there before the decision was announced, when the two of them are cuddling in front of me, and I'm just checking I'm going to get them once the decision's announced, because obviously it's going to be the American broadcasters get them first. And he says, and that's when Wilder says, sometimes you win when you lose. He says it, and Tyson's arm in arm with him, and we're talking intimately.
A great line.
And that's so. They knew their camp. That's why they're not screaming. They knew, Mike.
I can see you getting agitated and excited all over again, Steve. But as watching that change your opinion as to who won it? Because I tell you what, it's made me do. I've watched it 2 or 3 times this week while we've been in Las Vegas. I haven't changed my opinion, but I have come to try to see what the Americans viewed in terms of giving Deontay Wilder much more credit than we did, and I can see that now. He was landing more than I got the impression he was while I was commentating at ringside.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've changed my opinion on the first round, even though I thought Fury clearly won the last 10 seconds. He connects 3 or 4 times. I thought the first the first 2 minutes and 50 seconds, I can absolutely see what JDS is talking about. From sticking his tongue out, raising his hands, putting his hands behind his back, and looking like he was working. No, I thought that in that first 2 minutes, 50 seconds, I think Wilder could have nicked it by missing with 10 jabs, as opposed to Fury missing with 8 jabs.
That's really interesting.
I might have scored the first round the other way round. So suddenly I'm on an 8-4. Suddenly I'm on an 8-4, Mike.
Yeah, I can't see that with the first round, but, absolutely fascinating. We're now watching Jimmy Lennon Jr. just announce the official verdicts in that first fight, and there was just such shock. But also all around the arena, there was just this giant groan, wasn't there? Because
there was.
Even if there's going to be controversy, you want one or the other to win it.
But Mike, why doesn't Fury lose his mind here? Why? And I thought that's him standing on the ring apron. Why isn't Fury screaming the clef down? Why isn't Ben Davis and Freddie Roger again? No one's going mad. Are they just so relieved and happy they've got through 12 rounds in a fight that they all know they shouldn't have taken at that point? That went through my mind at the time.
So a draw. One judge scored it for Tyson Fury. One scored it for Deontay Wilder. And the British judge, Phil Edwards, scored it level. And so here we are for the rematch. And everybody's been having their opinion this week, Steve. And all that we've just been watching has been building into the narrative